Hello guys, it's Kevin, State and Co Truck Insurance. Today is March 15, 2023, and in this video we'll talk about economy in general and the trucking industry update. So without further ado, let's get into the presentation. So the fears of recession just got even more serious. The last week we had two regional bank failures. Silicon Valley Bank went under and was, seized by federal regulators. And then we had Signature Bank, take a nosedive, and now it's affecting all the bank stocks, and especially the regional bank stocks been plummeting. And one day it's up, next day it's down, which really puts pressure on the economy, and who knows, maybe we're just seeing a tip of the iceberg. And the ones in the trucking industry, you might say, hell, I've been in recession since September or August of last year. How worse this could get? And unfortunately, the answer is that yes, this could get even worse to kind of where we are today, because the inflation is still high. The Fed is still determined that they will continue to raise interest rates, and as everybody kept saying, they'll continue to raise interest rates, and then something will break. And the breakage point was the collapse of two regional banks. When it comes to the truck freight, it's kind of like, it's up year over year. So there's some, positive news, some sunshine, and then the continuous pressure on rates entering the spring negotiation market. That's kind of like in the works. The rail service levels continue modest improvements, while the volume is still sluggish to start the year. The port container volume is down year over year on both coasts. But then the West Coast port negotiations, that's what's really affecting West Coast ports, and puts a lot of pressure on those volumes. When it comes to total retailers inventory to sales ratio, it's been steadily climbing up, which is good news, means more goods and freight to deliver. You can see like the inventory levels and build up. So autos up, furniture, building materials, food and beverage, except the department stores are slightly down. And here's kind of like the broader view of the overall economy. As you see, the GDP growth sat at 5.9% in 2021. Then 2022 numbers are still being calculated, and it's going to end up around 2%. The forecast for this year is 1%, although this presentation was prepared before the bank collapses started, so who knows what it's going to look like in 30 days. And in 2024, we're anticipating a negative GDP growth. The housing stats are down. Nobody wants to build new homes when the interest rates are at 6 to 7%, and it's kind of been up and down over the last 8 months. The manufacturing index, 47.7, it's still down from the highs of 2021. The US labor participation rates steadily been climbing up. As you see, we dipped during COVID 60%, now it's 62.4, although it's still down compared to pre-pandemic levels of 63%. The consumer price index, which is your inflation, it came down from 8 to 6.4, but still, Feds determined that they need to put pressure on prices, and they just announced that they will continue rising interest rates. And the US Business Confidence Index is down at 99.6. Here's the year-over-year consumer spending data. That's what goes into CPI index calculations. And as you see, all categories, just skyrocketed, and especially when it comes transportation is up by 15%. The food and accommodations, hotels up 12%. Financial services is down, which means it costs you cheaper to keep your money in the bank, which is kind of a result of the higher interest rates, because now finally banks are able to pay interest on deposits and savings. The housing and utilities is up, and then we see some, the cars, still up, as well as the furniture and household equipment. All right, the FTR Shippers Condition Index. So this index kind of like captures and takes into consideration the freight freight rates, the capacity utilization, volume, and it sits at the best since May of 2020. And we see the blue one, that's 2022 at 10.3 points. The diesel fuel prices, that's one of the bright spots. We're down from $5.81, and this was getting crazy. Where people were just giving up when fuel did those high prices. But now it sits at $4.29. But then again, in some states, we're still over $5 a gallon. The logistics managers index and the Cass freight index, as you see right here, that it's been going up. It sits at 57.6 points. And then the blue line for 2023, this one's the Cass freight index when it comes to shipments. That one's down. And expenditures, again, the blue line for 2023 sits at 3.47. And then when it comes to the view on inventory, the inventory levels are slightly up, same as the costs. The warehousing capacity is up, the utilization is up, the warehousing price is up, and as well as the transportation capacity, the growing at a decreasing rate, which means more truckers are exiting the industry, which hopefully in the next 6 to 9 months, we'll see where the market, especially the spot market, will stabilize, and hopefully the spot rates will go up, because now we'll have less truckers willing and able to deliver those loads. Port volumes, that's what I was talking at the beginning of the presentation. As you see, the West Coast, the Long Beach is down 39% year over year. New York's down 18%. Charleston's down 35%. And and it's still affected by the global, China's been on a lockdown for a long time, and the expectation is that hopefully if they fully reopen, we might see some growth and increase in those port volumes. The port congestion, this is the average box dwell time at the ports. It peaked at back in January and March 2022. We were seeing 7-8 days dwell time. We had a buildup of ships just waiting to enter the ports. It kind of cooled down in November, December of 2022 was just barely about 3 days. Now it's slightly up, 3.1 days. And this is the percentage of box dwelling, under 5 days. That's 9%, which again, at least now freights and shipments are getting delivered. Trucking industry, 88 truck tonnage index has been going up slightly. So we saw, again, it kind of dipped in July of 2021, and now it sits at 117. The labor trends, the truck transportation employment is still going strong. There was a dip through COVID. Now it's 1615. And when it comes to the business applications in transportation and warehousing, it's at 34,039. The average rate, rate per hour for warehousing and trucking sector employee has slightly dipped, $29.54. But as you see, the last 3 years, there's still, it was over a 20% growth, which, puts pressure on the industry. The truck prices, we're finally seeing some cool off in a crazy used truck market. Although historically, we're still up by 30% to where, the average Class A, 3-year-old truck prices used to be $45,000, $50,000. We're sitting at $80,400, but at least it's down from 90, I think it was slightly over $90,000. The net truck orders, it was kind of quiet June through July of last year. Then it peaked in Q3, Q4 of 2022. But now when January started, it just took a nosedive on the 18,400 net truck orders. And when it comes to the new truck builds, sits at 26,521. the spot market. So that's where most of you, play and make your living. And as you see, the things are still not pretty as of March of 2023. When it comes to the spot market, the dry van, the flatbed, the reefer, every single category is down. The dry van sits at $2.24 average. The reefer is $2.49 and the flatbed is at $2.68. There's been some improvement for contract rates. So when it comes to flatbed, and that's the blue one, it's $3.84. But then again, dry van and the reefer are down. And, when you have declining prices for the contract rates, then automatically means the rejection rates are down, and it puts even more pressure on the spot market. But like I said at the beginning, with more and more truckers quitting the industry, and we see that on the insurance side, we're probably seeing, 20%, 25%. The truckers that started in 2021, now they're giving up, and the market's kind of like leveling off, which is going to help for the remaining players, and hopefully we'll see the spot market rates trending up later this year. And here's metrics for some of the large players. I'm not going to go into detail. This is the truckload for the big ones, the Schneider, Heartland Express, Werner, Knight Swift Transportation. You can see their year-over-year revenue, or Heartland Express is up 139%. I don't know exactly what's going on with them, but it seems they're making a killing. The next slide, we have Less-Than-Truckload. Same metrics, and some of the brighter spots and players that are seeing positive impact would be SAIA. Their year-over-year revenue is up by 6%. The net income margin is up by 10%. XPO Logistics, the revenue is up, but the net income margin is down. All right, and this is North American rail industry. I'm not going to spend too much time, but I'll just kind of like give you idea what's happening in North America, and that's US, Mexico, and Canada. As you see, the percentage of loads, the intermodular is down year over year by 7%, and that's mainly due to to the ports where the volumes are down. The chemicals are down. Some of the bright spots, the forest and farm products up by 50%, autos up by 13%. And here's a little bit more granular and deeper dive view into, US, Canada, and Mexico market. So you can see what's happening in those three countries. Again, not gonna spend too much time here. If you wanna, you can pause, or you can just email me and I can send you the presentation in PDF format. The Rail Transportation Producer Price Index, it's at 233, and the rail dwell time in days, it's down from the peak of 16 days, and this is August of 2022. Now sits at average 4 days. Okay, and here's the big players in Class 1 rail industry. As you see, the revenue is up for all the players, CSX, Union Pacific, BNSF, the net income's up. So rail is doing good, which again, hopefully it will translate into some improvement for the truckers. And that's all. That's all I have for the presentation today. If you like our content, please hit that subscribe button below, and follow us, comment, write suggestions. We're here for you. If any questions, just keep us posted, and we'll see you next time. Bye.